Hello, everyone, and welcome. I wanted to invite you to participate in a little land healing ceremony, a little land intuition ceremony that I am performing today for a client. And my friends are always saying, "Why don't you record these? The world wants to see them." So we're going to have a little bit of a intuition session for a piece of land that a client of mine has purchased and is hoping to build on, but the building process is slow. In fact, it hasn't even started yet, and she's had the land for a few years and just kind of feels like the process is stalled, is stagnating, and really wants to tune in and know what the land wants from her. What does the land actually want, and how can it be of assistance? So I have with me some stones that I have collected from all over my travels to different places. In this grouping, there is a stone from my homeland where I grew up, from that piece of property. There's a stone actually from my client's property that is in this stone circle here. So that will be providing energy for the land that she hopes to build on. There are also stones that have been collected from different journeys to different places, a lot of them from Great Lakes area and Lake Michigan region. So we also have some bark from a tree that belongs to the property, and we have some sage. So we're going to start by adding sage to the cauldron here, just to kind of get things started out. Add a little bit of sage to the bottom. And then we have some various herbs. So this is a herbal offering blend that I have put together that just is like a thank you and a gratitude. So we're going to add the gratitude blend here. I use it a lot with ancestor work and kind of an offering for that. So we're going to add that. I have a pine cone that we're adding. So pine cone symbolizes a lot of fertility and abundance, and also connection with the land as well. So we're going to also add that. And then I have some flower petals, again from various travels to different lands and regions that I have worked with. And so all of this blend is going to go into the cauldron here, and just using it as kind of a base to be able to get things started. Then we're going to use the bark as a little bit of a wick. Here, place that in there, and hopefully things will kind of light. And so as the cauldron is getting started, as we're having the smoke kind of waft up, now we are going to call in our nature spirits. We're going to call in the nature spirits for the place, the land that I'm actually sitting on performing this ceremony. I'm going to call in the directions, the east, the north, the west, the south to be with us. We're going to call in the sky and the earth, Mama Gaia. We're also going to call in the elements, the wind, the air, the water, fire, and earth to join us today. And then any ancestors, any ancient ones whose footsteps traversed this land, we're going to call them in to join us. And then as we begin to ground in and connect here, we are joined by our canine friends who are interested in guarding this space from the male lady. I don't think she's all that menacing, but for some reason, my canine friends think that she is very menacing and must be guarded. Or must be that they must guard me and protect me from her. Having a little bit of a hard time lighting with the bark, so let's try lighting the sage, see if that works. Try not to light myself on fire. Let's see if we can get it going here. And a little bit of not really wanting to work. So you're going to get to witness the reality of trying to film ceremonies outside as you're trying to perform them. Little bit of a fire encourager here. Fire starter. Hopefully the paper will help it to kind of catch. That's looking better. All right. Better. Good. So as we connect in and just really feeling my root chakra on the ground, feeling connected with this land where I'm doing the ceremony, and beginning to tune in to the place where my client has her land and the place that she wants to know. Asking the question, what does the land want from her? And just reaching out to the nature spirits there on that piece of land. I've walked the land. It's a beautiful piece of property. I definitely think that she would be happy there to have a home, that she would live in connection with the land. And just reaching out to those nature spirits and to the land and inviting it into this ceremony, inviting it to lend its voice, to be able to speak to us about what it really wants from my client, the voice that the land has, what it wants to be able to speak. And just tuning in. And immediately I see a circle. And I see a circle specifically of women. And they are gathered around a fire, around like an open, outdoor open hearth area. And there is community, and there is connection, there is storytelling, there is sharing and support of one another. And this is really interesting because my client shared with me that the very first time that she set foot on the land to look at it, to see if she wanted to purchase it, that she actually had a vision of women in, the best way she could describe it was like sweat lodge, almost like a yurt kind of a thing, in circle, in community, sitting and sharing stories and communion, and just she actually related it to like a red tent kind of thing, where historically women, when they were menstruating, would retreat to a red tent kind of a thing, and that was when their oracle powers would come in, and they would sit in communion in this tent, and as they bled, they would actually vision into what was on the horizon for the community, for the village, for the tribe or the clan, or whatever community that they were a part of, historically speaking. And this was years ago, centuries ago, when this kind of community, communion was able to take place. And that is what my client saw when she first set foot on the land. She didn't really have the language for it, but in trying to describe it, that's the picture that I was able to see from what she described. So in seeing that vision coming forward once again, of really, women in nature, women in the woods, women in community, in circle, in support of one another. And that's just truly inspiring. I know that she hopes to make this land her home, but maybe it can be, more her home and a community. So just checking in here to see if there is anything else that wants to come forth around that question. What does the land want? And not seeing anything else come forward. So the other question that she had, that she wanted to ask, was, what do the beings of the land want? And so since we have asked the nature spirits and the beings of the land to join us here in this circle, just calling them forth and asking them, as beings of this land, what is it that you want? What do you want to share? What do you need to be heard? And they are asking for peace and love, and for someone to really be in community with them, who cherishes and loves the land and will work to restore the land and the forest and the species that live on the land. So as a bit of a background, this piece of land has been a pine farm, timber farm, for probably about 70 years or so. So it has been planted with pines, it has been forested and farmed, and for those of you who have never seen like a clear-cut forestry operation, it's devastating to the land. And they take these, giant pieces of equipment in, and they cut down the trees, and then they shear off the limbs and just basically leave the limbs in giant piles, and take the pine, trunks out, stack them on lumber trucks and haul them away. And so to be able to make paths in the land, to be able to harvest the trees, and then when the trees fall, they, can knock down other trees. And specifically if they are farming pines, then if a pine tree falls on like a hardwood, like an oak tree or a maple tree or something like that, then that tree is just, it's left, as it is, in whatever kind of damaged situation it might be in. And so there are logging trails and logging landings and piles of stuff that are just left. There's a real damage, a real raw wound that's left in the land. And if you have never seen a forestry operation, the heartache that is left on the land is pretty incredible to set foot on the land after a forestry operation has been in there. So not to get too preachy on you, but think of all the things that are made of wood or paper that you consume in your life, and just know that a tree had to be cut down, that there were forestry operations that had to go into effect in order to bring you that paper. So that's the kind of scar that is left on the land when that happens. So if you can at all reduce your consumption, it helps to have fewer trees that have to be cut down. That's my little soapbox moment. So just tuning back into what the beings of the land have to say here. And they just, they really want they want the owner to know that, they want her to work with them to, number one, not forest the land. If she needs to take out select trees to build a home or, do something like that, like, okay, fine. But select trees, and to be really selective about it. And they would ask that it not be forested again, because the devastation is just massive. And they are asking for healing, and they are asking for love, and for protection, and for it to be as clean and chemical free of a footprint as possible. That if she wants to come and live on the land and build on the land, that if she has a garden or flowers or that sort of thing, that she not use chemicals, that she live with nature, as natural and as regenerative as it can possibly be, and to look for ways to participate in regenerative land maintenance. So there's a beautiful, it's a masculine energy. He almost looks like a gnome-like creature that appears to be the spokesman of the land that has come forward to deliver this message. And so just thanking him for coming forward and for being willing to share with us. And so the last question that we have for today is, will the beings of this land welcome my client to this parcel of land to be able to build? And they are saying yes, that this is something that they would welcome given the previous stipulations. And so just because I know that my client would like to build a home there, just asking if the beings of the land would be willing to participate in assisting her in any way to be able to move forward with this project, whether it's assistance in permitting operations or funding or any of the other hurdles that need to be cleared in order to build a home and to be able to live on this land. And the beings are signifying yes, that they would welcome this, to be able to work hand in hand with her. So, wow, what a beautiful, beautiful land intuition session. And just because there has been forestation, trees removed from this piece of land, just going to go ahead and just extend peace and love to this parcel of land here, and just asking for healing. I do have an indigo gabbro. Absolutely love indigo gabbro for grounding, for land healing, for intuition into land issues. And so just placing that there in the circle, symbolically asking for healing for this land, for love and protection for all of the trees, the animals, the stones, the minerals, all of the energetic beings that call this parcel of land home, asking that they be protected and that love and light shine on them, and that everyone, including the landowner, move forward in a feeling of love, of regeneration, of reciprocity, of healing, light, and love. And just asking for a blessing to be placed on this land, asking for a blessing to be placed on the landowner. And just seeing a beautiful vision of community and land healing unfolding on this parcel of land. So thank you all so much for joining me today for this session. I hope that you got something out of it, and we will see you next time.